As humans, we have much to be proud of. With the use of our superior intellect, we have stood on top of the food chain since a long time. That, however, means that the humanity has the ability to take advantage of other species that live alongside them, such as from domesticating cattle, such as cows, for profit, to domesticating dogs or cats to keep as pets for emotional fulfillment. As a result, that has put many people in the positions of power around the world to be able to abuse animals and get away with it a lot of the time, if not all the time. That brings us to the main theme surrounding the topic of this video, which is animal cruelty. Animal cruelty refers to the act of abusing animals and making them suffer for purposes other than self-defense. Animal abuse can exist in many forms. An example of it is that a lot of industries, such as the milk industry, use the animal as commodities, where the only purpose of the animal is to produce whatever it is that it produces so that the industry and the workers can continuously profit off the animal and its suffering. And when the animal is no longer physically able to produce as much, they are killed. Many people say that this can all be connected to speciesism. Speciesism basically means that we treat one species as morally more important than another species, and that the belief that this practice is justified. So, for example, pigs are said to be smarter than dogs. However, dogs place much higher in the society than pigs, and the only thing pigs are used for is their meat. After looking more into this topic, I decided to make my research based on this topic and around this topic. Not to mention, I wanted to investigate the impact that media content like discoveries have on people's perception of animals. So my official research question for this topic is, how does the recording and display of factual information like documentaries on animal abuse affect the average person's perception on animals? So, in order to gather data, I decided to split the data into two categories: primary data and secondary data. For primary data, I interviewed three people. Two of them were recorded on camera, and one was only recorded on audio because he didn't want to be recorded on camera. Before they were interviewed, I showed them this video on YouTube that showed the kind of abuse that these animals go through on a daily basis. These were their reactions while watching the video.
Hi, my name is Duncan. I'm from CCU.
Hi Duncan, so what do you think about the footage that I just showed you?
I think it's absolutely disgusting.
So before this, have you ever watched documentaries surrounding animal cruelty?
I have, and I don't plan on watching anymore.
Do you think that documentaries are a good way to raise awareness of animal cruelty?
Definitely, because it shows people what goes on behind the scenes, behind many industries, and I think it's an issue that people should pay attention to.
So what are your thoughts on exploitation of animals in the meat industry?
I think it's a good cause because it shows people what goes on in the back and what we actually eat and what goes on in the cruelty,
So do you think that humans have the right to exploit animals for profit?
Definitely not. I think we both have the equal rights as human beings and animals.
So would you still support the industries exploiting the animals for profit?
I would not support it.
Okay, thank you very much. What did you think about the clip that I just showed you?
I think it was devastating.
Before this, have you ever watched a documentary surrounding animal cruelty?
Yes.
Do you think that documentaries are a good way to raise awareness about animal cruelty?
Yeah, I think it is.
Why?
It let more people know that what's happening,
Mm.
how these animals are being treated.
So, what are your thoughts on the exploitation of animals in the meat industry?
I think it's bad. Uh, yeah.
Do you think that humans have the right to exploit animals for profit?
No, absolutely not. It's just the same way that humans doesn't have the rights to exploit humans. What give them rights to exploit animals?
So, would you still support the industries that exploit the animals?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you so much.
After watching the clip, I feel very sad for the animal. Yes, because documentary films are in-depth and informative resource which are a perfect platform to create dialogue. No, I think it's terrible, but that is the way of life in modern time. Yes, absolutely. We humans need protein. Proteins come from chicken, cow, and other sources. So therefore, we have the right to exploit animals for profit. And also we need to do business. If we don't do business, we won't earn any money. If we don't earn money, we can't eat any chicken or cow. It's so simple.
Moving on to secondary data. According to the study, the effect of nature documentaries on students' environmental sensitivity, a case study by Thesos A. Barbas, where they investigate whether students who have been exposed to a nature documentary develop a greater level of environmental sensitivity towards those animals compared to students who have not. The results of this study shows that nature documentaries have a positive effect on students' environmental sensitivity, and that the results also indicate that nonverbal, less conventional documentary is more effective in the development of environmental knowledge and feelings about insects than, but equally effective in the changes in attitude and beliefs as the verbal, traditional one. And finally, we have learned that all the data gathered indicates that the documentaries can change the perception of animals in most people, and thus it can be concluded that documentaries can play a vital role in the perception of animals, and that in order to raise more awareness about animal cruelty, more documentaries need to be made and put in the mainstream media. Doing this research has opened my eyes towards animals and how they suffer every day for the sake of our enjoyment, such as food, clothes, and such. I will be contributing to the cause of helping the animals live a better life, and I hope you do the same. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.